And next up is Dark. What do you have?
Ay. I have Shumatsu Train to the End of the World, or whatever.
Yeah.
Shumatsu
What is it?
Train, Doko Eiku.
Dokaiku. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is an anime original. This is being done by EMT Squared.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this is
The
not a
most
looker.
recent that
This
they
might be one
did,
of
yeah, the most recent thing that they did was what? Oh, Mofu Mofu, right? I think you covered that
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, which was not
Yes.
terrible visually, and I think this might be the worst, the worst thing they've dropped in a while visually, to be honest with you. Which
Did
is
it
kind
did
of
it have
unfortunate.
that isekai money? Did it have that isekai money?
Nah, didn't get it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, in some ways, isn't this an isekai? Um, so this series is,
No,
huh? Yeah.
no, right?
No, it's not an
I
isekai.
mean,
Uh,
I guess in a way, but not
yeah.
really. No.
So this is an anime original, and this was definitely something that we were kind of fearful of for, um, because it kind of did exactly what we were afraid of. And being an anime original, this had a very strange premise, right? So this is basically four friends at quote unquote the end of the world, so to speak. Um, where I should say this series opens with one character who is technically a not really a main. She's like kind of the objective of the series, but this character's name is Nakatomi Yoka, and she wins
Yes.
a raffle ticket when she tries to enter the train to go to school in the beginning of the series. And she is the
Mhm.
777,000. Why? I don't know. Whatever. She's like the 77,777th person or whatever the fuck. I don't even know how to say this number. It's five sevens. How do you say? How do you say that? I'm drawing a complete fry.
77,777. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Seventh. Yeah.
yeah.
Bro's brain is
So
turning to fucking mush, dude.
yeah, whatever. Bro, I watched 11 episodes of this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not doing good. But yeah,
Excellent.
so anyway, yeah, she gets like airlifted onto a building that's like short, like in some weird statue thing in a drone. Don't really question why or how. But she gets brought there, and she gets brought to this building to unveil. You got it. You guessed it. 7G technology. Um,
Oh yeah,
Two
this
more
series.
G's?
That's a lot of
yeah,
Two
two
more
G's.
more
G's?
G's than 5G. I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she is there for the unveiling. And you know, this like quirky character, Poison Pontero is like an announcer and like the creator of 7G technology, and they're like, yeah, you know, Japan was really behind on 3G, 4G, and 5G. We got passed up on 6G tech, but 7G is here, baby.
So many G's. Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, for some reason, the way they talk about it is like it's this thing of like, you know, like instantaneous communication. You get a chip in your brain and stuff like that too. Or you could
Okay.
if you want to for this 7G tech.
What does the G stand for in like 7G anyway?
That's a good
I
question.
don't
I actually
know.
don't know what the G even means in 5G. Um,
Like
Shooting G waves.
the cellular, like this, is it a
Oh,
cellular
generation. It's
technology?
generation.
oh, okay.
So
So
what
It
makes
stands for
so
gen.
there
so
actually
what
could
makes
be a 6G and a
so
7G.
what makes 5G faster than 4G? The radio
I mean,
towers are
it's
still the
just
same, aren't they? Unless they're putting optic fiber in
I think it's
cables.
just the way that the
I would
devices are
I would assume it's better.
specifically
I would
receiving.
assume it's better infrastructure and also yeah, and also
So
just like
so hold on.
better better readability. whatever you would call it.
So what you're
it
saying?
just performs
Was it
better.
7G that destroyed the world, or was it 6G?
So they activate.
They're
So when they
working. They
activate
eventually, yeah.
7G, yeah. So when they activate 7G, it like fucks up the world. It like horrifically warps it, and then the main Yoka turns it off for a second, and then she basically goes, you know what? I kind of fucking hate this world. I'm gonna turn it on again." And then she turns it on again, and then it rewarps the world again
So
even more.
so this is
Um,
the near future, is it not? I want to say like 10 years maybe,
yeah, it's not that far in
because
the
we're
future.
on 5G's already old news, right? 6G's coming soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I know because we had like 5G LTE and stuff like that as well. Like there was like slightly the different like technology and shit even within it. But either way, so it like horrifically warps and distorts the world. And then it kind of like flashes forward to these animals talking in a village. And
Yeah.
these animals are basically like, "Damn, man, can't believe like this happened, but it's been 2 years, so we're kind of all adapting." And they're just kind of living their lives in this village. And so, like, one of the things that happens in this series a lot is that these characters just yap. They yap a lot. They give a lot of exposition. They don't shut up. And this goes on
Talent
for
show.
yeah, this goes on for what feels like a very decent amount of time before eventually our main 4 characters show up. And our main 4 characters are Shizuru Chikara, Nadeshiko Hoshi, Remi Kuga, and Akira Shinonome. And so they're in this village, and then they reveal that at the age of 21 in this village for some reason, no, 21 in like 3 months, even if you weren't turned into an animal before, you will turn into one now.
So
And
Japan.
so, yeah, and so
Animals, yeah.
yeah, and it's only in this village. And then they talk about how in other villages they're like, we kind of lucked out because in other villages, you may have just turned into a tree.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so anyway, long story short, Shizuru wants to find a girl who they were friends with before all this went down, who went missing. This girl turns out to be Yuka. And while like going around questioning it, she runs into the conductor from their village, or well, who had stopped at that village, who is like this hunched over old guy with a dog named Pochi. And this hunched over old guy can only like he's lost his mind. He's got a very weird art style, but he can kind of only what do you call it? He can only make like choo choo sounds like as he walks around. He's just kind of like out of his mind.
What pop?
Yeah, like he can't speak or anything like that. Like he is gone. But she finds his conductor hat one day and puts it on him, and then he stands upright and is an Ikemen now and speaks normally. And so he tells
Nice,
her
nice.
he basically starts giving this really quick exposition and like crazy exposition about Pontaru Poison's plan and how 7G fucked everything up, and how they could probably find Yoka in where is it? Ikabara? No, Ikebukuro. So she can find him there. And then after 5 minutes, he reconverts back into his old ways. And so then she finds out that every 24 hours he can be lucid essentially for 5 minutes. And so he teaches her how to drive the train that is in their town. And that is when she decides to leave, and the other 3 girls wind up tagging along with her, just kind of haphazardly jumping on the train as it's pulling out. This is a very old train. This is like the one car, like the one train car itself as well. And yeah, this turns into a episodic / mini arc series about them riding this train through a very strange and fucked up and warped Japan. And apparently this is the only train line as well. Like the rest of the world, as far as they know, is just like gone outside of this train line.
Yeah.
Just because why? Who knows? But I will say, like,
Yeah, I mean,
some of the
like the
places they
thing is,
travel
those
to
explanations
are
don't
like,
really need to be that solid,
yeah, I mean,
right?
some of the
Because
places they
it's
wind up
like,
traveling to are just desolate anyway. So it's like, yeah,
yeah.
no one can get
I
beyond
mean,
that
like,
because no one
because
comes back.
the thing is, the backbone of the story is 7G literally just put our world into a bizarre universe, so they don't really need to explain that much of the lore.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah,
Yeah,
these
like
things are
they went
happening.
to like they stopped. There was a train stop with a. But the other problem is too is that it's like there's not that many regular people left to begin with. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
make a stop and it's a bunch
It's
of
like a zombie
Jesus
apocalypse kind of
statues.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah,
really. No, not at all. It's like the way I can describe it is it's almost like Adventure Times, like Apocalypse.
yeah.
Like they
Oh,
travel
okay,
to a
okay.
town. They do travel to a town where there are a bunch of zombies. But then they also travel to a town where there's like a bunch of. It's just that everyone's like a Jesus statue, right? Like they're just like the Buddha statues. And they
Oh,
can
okay.
talk. They can talk, but they can't move. They can't move. They have all their senses, but they're just like, yeah, no, we're kind of just stuck here. But you know, when you get used to it, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
They like pass through a place where there is a bunch of weird turnips that pop up out of the ground with faces, and they look at them and then they scream and laugh at them. Um, they enter a village with like a bunch of people who are being controlled by mushrooms. Because the mushrooms get them like
What the
are
fuck?
in yeah, they're implanted in their brain and it gets them really high and makes them like kind of okay with their everyday lives. And then they die in about a year or two. And they voluntarily did this because they're like, yeah, this world sucks. Like the
Yeah, yeah,
planet is terrible. Like people got turned into fucking trees. There are like fucked up like creatures like all around. Like whether or not they're dangerous is like, you know, besides the point because it's like just awful. um because like even buildings got warped and stuff too. Like the line that they're on to I keep forgetting it. Ikebukuro should have only taken them, I think, like they were saying an hour or less. And now they're like, yeah, this may take us weeks. Like we have no idea. Like everything got stretched out and like warped. Um and yeah, so it kind of turns into a lot of that of them finding like a bunch of weird, wacky places. But all the while with like that underlying drama of finding Yoko. Or Yuka. And that's kind of where I feel like the series really falls apart because then it tries to get into like some introspection with Yuka and she's like
Oh, because it
I
goes
think
into
it's
their
supposed to be like a
backstory. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of there's some flashbacks and stuff like that, but it a lot of it to me, I'm just kind of like okay, but like what's the point, right? Like you're doing all this, but like there has been never a reason for me to give a shit. Right? Like the stakes were
Hmm.
not never really established that high. Like, and now by the end of the series, they're like, oh, if we get there and we save her, we can. If we meet her, we can reactivate the 7G thing and turn the world back to normal.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's two kind of problems here, where it's like half of it is it's trying to juggle too many things at once. Like it's trying to do like the cute girls, but like they're also kind of traveling around doing like a more journey kind of thing, with those like themes again, like Majin no Tabi
yeah, and
Tabi
like
or
the
Kimi no
wacky,
Tabi or
yeah, and
Bicycle
seeing all
for
like
whatever.
these wacky
But on
people in
top
the
of that,
post-apocalypse.
yeah, but on top of that, it's doing the wacky like hijinks again in the apocalypse, plus like the comedic little slapstick here and there, plus whatever. And then on top of that, it's trying to run the story. And then the second problem is, and this sort of stems from what we just said, is that because it's trying to juggle these things, it doesn't really know where it wants to be at any one time, or it doesn't even know where it wants to be in general. So the tone of this series is a little bit confusing. It's like,
Yeah,
is this
it's very
supposed to
odd.
be
It's like, is this supposed to
mostly
be
like a
like
slapstick
absurdist,
series?
wacky? Yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is this supposed
What
to
is
be
it? Yeah,
drama? Like, am I actually supposed to give a shit
yeah.
about like finding Yuka? Like, am I supposed to?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
exactly.
and so that is why I described it to you guys earlier as like this feels like a series like Flip Flappers or like Wonder Egg, but
Yeah.
kind of as if like Wonder Egg and Flip Flappers um had started off with us knowing where the ending was gonna go, right? That they were gonna do
Right.
some weird like dramatic, build up to the end, which is bad. Like it's just not a, it's just very like I don't know. Like
I mean, to
I
be
want to
fair,
say like episode 10.
we knew Flip Flappers was going to do a dramatic ending. We just didn't realize how fucking stupid it was going to be. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the
But-
nature of
and
the
so
studio, yeah.
yeah, it was just like but this it's just like really trying to weave that through the story and it takes away from everything else. And even everything else, like the comedy is not particularly that funny. I think the thing that the series is like really riding. Oh, that was the other thing too. Like the drama seems to be going through like there's something with Yuka or Yoka being like basically like having been fed up with the world the way it was before and everything. And so she like kind of doesn't want to turn it back anyway because she's like I fucking, this place was kind of a shithole prior.
Right.
And so like why don't I just like live in this wacky world with magical powers? Because she does have magic powers now as well. Like that was her warp. She can like fucking turn people into like dark matter or something. Like just erase them essentially. But yeah, so it's like I don't know. I don't really know where the tone is going in these final episodes as well because like they're fighting, like characters are getting choked out by a bodyguard to Yoka. Like literally, Shizuka literally gets like choke held, like headlocked, into passing out. Um, and then they like kind of rally. They escape and then re-rally. But ultimately, like this series is hard to explain because it's like it's all over the fucking place. Like it's not particularly funny. It's not particularly interesting. All of the towns that they're showing have been done before. Like these ideas have all been done before. Visually, it's kind of not great. It's like I said, it's EMT's like worst fucking show, like visually in a very long time. It has really bad CG in the beginning. It has really bad CG at certain points with the train. It has okay CG at other points, but ultimately, it's like like I feel like a series like this really needs to be carried then by its like absurd visuals or like
Yeah,
um absurd styles and stuff like that. And this does not do that.
Yeah, it needs to be like a Zvezda or like a Kyosugiga or like something that's just while the other kind of story stuff that might be a little bit more vague or rough around the edges is going on in the background, it kind of wows you. Not necessarily like super clean and refined, but it goes, "Oh, that's nice. That's interesting." Like that's like something I want to keep watching.
Yeah,
But it feels like trained, yeah.
yeah. There's like some. The other thing is like the pacing. Like I said, there since you kind of know where everything is going, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm not gonna like spoil any more bits just in case like anyone else or villages in case anyone else wants to watch this. But like basically a character at one point they need to like find a doctor to figure out like what is wrong with a character because something happens after another village and that takes like 2 episodes. So like for 2 episodes one of the characters is just like not really themselves for 2 episodes. And you're like, okay, well, I guess there's going to be no character interaction from them for now, which is the only thing about this series that is even remotely enjoyable. The character interactions are kind of and reactions are kind of the only aspects that are good, and even that is not particularly great. So So yeah, I really don't know a ton else to say about the series. Its OP is fine. It's ED. I literally watched this 11 times today, and I don't remember it. I don't think it's anything crazy. I
Yeah.
literally don't remember what its ED is, but its OP is like pretty
Yeah,
good,
it's
and
unfortunate.
probably the best part about the show. To be perfectly honest with you,
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't really know who I would recommend this to. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I should talk about the music too. The music at times is very nice, is very cool. Some of it is like ambient as well. Like there is a track early on in the series that you could hear out of something like, I don't know, like a weird like post-apocalyptic or like CRPG or something, or like fucking Kenshi, right? Like it has like
Oh,
industrial
okay.
sounds and like a weird like buzzing like bass like going on and stuff like that. It's very odd. It's very hard to describe. It's like a rumble in certain points of like the track. And I believe the music for this series, this person, she has only done this series and one other, yeah, Isekai Shokudo 1 and 2. Oh no, and Machikado
Oh,
Mazaku's. Oh, she only did the theme song, OP, OP for that. This is Miho Sujibayashi.
but
And
Isekai Shokudo was also pretty good in those aspects, right? Remember
yeah,
correctly?
yeah, and it was, and so it's kind of cool to hear this. It's cool to hear her do like very weird stuff at times.
Mhm.
I kind of, my big complaint
Right.
would be that there are whoever did the like directing for the music for this series, or not really, yeah, like the sound director. This so the director and sound director, it's so weird because this is like the director. This is fucking Sutomu Mizushiyama, and he directed like Shirobako, Girls und Panzer, like um, what is this? I've never watched this, but XXX Holic. Um,
Oh, okay.
what is this? Like this is a very prolific director who has like just
Mhm.
insanely like an insane pedigree here,
And
right?
this
Prison
was
school,
wait, who is
you
who is
know?
series composition
Yeah,
slash
who's
writer?
script series composition?
Yeah.
I believe this is, yeah, this is also insane. Michiko Yokote, who is the scriptwriter for fucking Gintama, Mononoke, Sekikuso no, what is this in English
Is
again?
he
You
one of the
guys
main
definitely
Yeah,
have
but
writers
this
for
have
one.
they
Gintama?
done
Because it's like,
originals?
yeah.
That is a good question. I do not know if she has done originals.
Yeah. Also,
Um,
in a lot of these like bigger series, like Gintama or Bleach and stuff like
let's
that, there can
see.
be multiple writers for
Yeah.
these
That's
scripts,
true.
just
That's
because
true.
there's so many episodes.
Let me look
Um,
just really quick. This was not
True.
original. Oh
God,
well,
the
you
credits on
you
this are
you
actually
didn't
like
know.
fucking annoying to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh,
cute high
Series
girl Earth
composition.
Defense Club love. Yeah.
Wow.
Either way,
Yeah,
these people
I
like these
feel
people
like
have a lot under their belt. But
yeah. I mean,
this series is
for
not
the most
it.
part, we
Like,
know. Yeah, we know that they are at least a veteran. Like this is just
yeah,
something that
they're
they
definitely
should
a
have been
veteran as
through
far
a
as like
thousand
scripts
times.
go.
Yeah,
Like you would expect regardless.
yeah,
Like they've headed up some of these things. Like they've been active since,
yeah.
what is this, like
They've had a
early, since like 2000? Yeah, since 2000.
yeah.
They've been active doing
I
scripts and screenplays.
I think that they have definitely how do I say this? Had some ups and downs. Like some of the stuff that I see on their list that
As
are
far as
anime
scripts
originals.
go,
For instance, I cover.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
for
mean they
instance,
did
I covered.
Sekirku Boys,
Th-
like so.
yeah, they also
Yeah.
did Magnificent Kotobuki, which I cover, which I did not like in terms of story at all. So
Hmm.
I think that might be part of the a tell is what I'll say, probably.
Yeah,
But
so
it
it's
is
very
still very
odd.
unfortunate. But yeah,
Yeah, so I would say like the music honestly is kind of the highlight, but the big problem and the reason why I brought up the director and everything too is that the directing and pacing of this series is terrible. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
it's like impressively bad. And the other thing that's really bad is when they choose like the sound directing is atrocious.
Uh-huh.
Like
In what way?
there will be like when I was talking about that like Kenshi like track, the reason why I really noticed these tracks is I was like, is this series just fucking dead silent right now? And sure enough, it is. It like there are points where it is dead silent. Like there is like no or barely any ambient noises going on, like barely any foley, and it's just like voice actors talking and shit. And then you realize when music comes in, like, oh, there's music, and the ambient track was really
Yeah,
nice, and
stuff
I was
like
like,
that.
and that made me think like,
Stuff like that makes like
why
you
doesn't this
really
whole series
appreciate
just have
people at
ambient
like
tracks? Like,
yeah, yeah.
um,
It's like it's stuff like that that really makes you appreciate good like sound directors and like music people like Akutaka Ajin and stuff like that, and people who have worked with say like Kyoani and like so on with all their famous works, where that like quality and like when the music gets inserted, the quality of the OST in general, just how it's all the music is like mixed and balanced, and again like what sort of music should be in there, stuff like that. Um, I think
yeah, and this isn't a bad
we take
sound
that for
director
granted
either,
at
because
times.
it's the same as the
Yeah,
director who did the sound direction for Shirobako, did the sound direction
yeah.
for like, oh my god, what was that other O and A, Plastic Nason. Like
Oh, okay,
he
okay.
did like he's done that, like the directing and sound directing for that,
Mhm.
and it's like, yeah, there's just like a lot of these things that it's like, what happened here that didn't add up? Like what the fuck? Because this isn't
Yeah,
even a
it's a little bit
situation of like too
unfortunate.
many cooks because there's not that many people here.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just this thing just kind of didn't pan out in my opinion. Like,
Mm.
yeah, and also the sound quality itself too. The voice acting sound quality is odd. It sounds like COVID like recording shit. Like you can tell like this is not, these voices sound off. Like their recording does not
Yeah, yeah,
sound
yeah.
right. I can't really tell exactly what it
Maybe it
is about
was.
it, but it just
Maybe like
sounds.
this a lot of this was like made partly through like before the COVID days, and then like these sorts of like ending pieces of production are just them kind of scooping everything together at the last moment, like whoop, you know what I mean?
That could, I mean, that could be possible for sure. Um
Yeah,
but yeah, just disappointing. Especially because this series also features one of my favorite voice actresses who, I mean, I say favorite, like I forgot, like I recognize her voice and then I realize, oh, this is someone who I do really like. Um
yeah.
and this is Hina Kino. And she,
Ah, yes, yes.
my favorite voice that she has done in moderately recent times. Well, I mean, she was in Wata 10 and that was great too. But
Hmm.
um her work as Hanako from Asobi Asobase, like her voice is
Okay.
very distinct and very very good. Her capabilities of like her shouting as well is incredible, and her screams.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, for
her
sure.
delivery is amazing. But yeah, she's been getting a lot of work recently, which has been since, which is very very nice. But just kind of sucks that it's like, damn man, like this is where I hear her
Yeah,
again.
for
Fuck,
with
like
this, yeah, yeah,
fuck.
exactly. Yeah,
It is very
yeah.
unfortunate. I would say this is you know, I would say for my rating, just to wrap up, would be like a 4, maybe a 5. Like,
Hmm.
it, I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend it. I would recommend watching what's it called? Which kind of does it doesn't do this like specifically, but it kind of does almost what this is trying to do, but infinitely better. I can't remember the name of the show off the top of my head, but Spire, you probably know it. It has humanity in the title. It was the one with the um girl oh, never mind. There we go. Yeah, humanity has declined. Jinri wa
Yeah,
suitai
Jinro
shimashita.
Suite Shimashita. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I was
literally
about to
watch
say that
that
actually.
instead. Like if you have not seen that
Yeah.
series, like and you want a like weird, a very
Yeah,
odd
if
like
yeah, definitely. If
apocalyptic
you're gonna,
series,
yeah, yeah,
like watch
yeah.
I
watch
mean, you should just
Humanity Has Declined.
watch.
I mean, you should watch it
That
regardless.
show
But
regardless of
Yeah,
anything.
that show
But-
in general is good. Yeah.
but if you have not watched that and you were thinking remotely about watching this series, go watch that instead. Because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
does just almost everything this is trying to do, but far, far, far better. And it's honestly
Yeah.
criminal that these are both in the same number of rating
Universe.
on Mog.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the fact
Oh,
that these
really?
are like yeah, this is like Humanity Has Declined is a 7.7. This is 7.4 right now. Granted, this only has like 6 or 7 reviews, but it's
Yeah,
still
it's like the
like
same thing as like
kinda
Flip
criminal.
Flappers, like where it's like, oh, girls being wacky in a wacky world. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I gotta give it
bro."
an 8.
It's like
It's like,
that.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very I feel like people are voting on these things like it's just purely vibes based. Like they are not really absorbing
Yeah.
what is happening.
Or like even I think most of them also it's kind of like rating or reviewing or having opinions on games that you haven't played. It's like they don't really watch it. They're just like kind of look at it or like they kind of see YouTube clips of it. They're like, yeah, I think it's okay, and then they just like sneak in that ML rating. To be honest, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Maybe read the manga. Maybe the manga has like no, wait. This is an
no,
original.
well, the
This
manga
doesn't have a
is
manga.
the
This is
same.
going to have a manga.
Yeah.
This
No,
is
it's like it
going
was.
or it does have a manga.
It's
It was
not like a
silent
multimedia
release.
project. It's yeah. It's a simul
Yeah.
release. It's less of a multimedia project and
So
more of just like. By the way, there's also
I
this
would
manga
still say
at the same time, yeah.
maybe you could read the manga. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
But-
the pacing might at least be a little bit better. Maybe the art is interesting. I don't know. But
yeah,
certainly this series is not, not great.
not it. Yeah, yeah. Very unfortunate again that happened again.
Oh, it also doesn't even
thank
have
you
really
very
like
much,
it doesn't
Dar-
have train trivia either. If you're like a train guy
Oh fuck!
and you thought that you
Yeah.
were about to check this out for train trivia,
That sucks.
this does not feature train
That's the biggest
trivia.
thing I think that everybody was expecting, to be honest.
No.
But
Unless your train
yeah.
trivia goes from like talking like about a handful or less Japan train lines, then
Yeah.
you know.
Anyways, thank you very much, Dark, for helping cover Train to the End of the World. 週末トレイン、どこへ行く? So,
What was your rating?
yeah.
Like a 4?
Oh, yeah. Or gave like a 4, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Damn, worse than
fine,
high speed. That's all, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, it is a little
Listen,
bit.
if I was giving high,
I
no,
think-
trust
I-
me. If I was rating high speed Etoile, it would probably be far, far lower than what you gave it.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, thank you very much, Dark, for helping cover that. Unfortunate that it didn't shake out very well, but you know, it is what it is.